It started like any other typical day until it didn't. I'm Carol, the hotel manager. The usual routine of handling check-ins, check-outs, and complaints kept me busy. But that particular day, everything shifted. I was at the front desk when a man marched up. He had the look of someone with wealth. Tailored suit, slicked back hair, the whole package. He slammed his phone on the counter and shot me a look like I was the cause of all his issues. "This room is unacceptable. Who's in charge here?" he demanded in an icy tone. I maintained my best customer service smile, trying to de-escalate the situation. "I apologize for the trouble. I'm Carol, the manager. I'll take care of it immediately." He raised an eyebrow. "I hope so. I was about to call the owner." "What's your name again?" "Carol," I repeated, keeping my composure. "How about I upgrade you to one of our premium rooms to make it right?" As we made our way to the new room, his body language softened. "Sorry for blowing up," he said, massaging his neck. "Name's James. I've been traveling nonstop for weeks, and it's catching up with me." "No problem, James. We all have those days," I replied, opening the door to a luxurious room. He smiled. "This works. Thanks." He seemed more at ease. While I handled some paperwork, we made small talk, and I learned he was a cryptocurrency investor, traveling to enjoy his success. "It's not all it's cracked up to be," he admitted. "I can imagine," I said, handing him the keys to his new room. "But you get to meet interesting people along the way, right?" He chuckled. "Yeah, like fiery hotel managers who know how to handle a meltdown." I laughed. "It's part of the job." Before heading to his room, he stopped. "Hey Carol, how about dinner later? I owe you one for handling me so well." I was caught off guard, but he seemed genuine. "Sure, James, that would be nice." And just like that, I found myself having dinner with James, talking about everything from crypto to pizza. He was easy to talk to, laughing freely, and didn't mind when I vented about my day. Over the next few weeks, we started spending more time together. It wasn't a cheesy romance, it was genuine. After my shifts, we'd meet up for a meal or stroll around until late. One night, we were at a dive bar, the kind where everyone knows your name and the beer's always cold. James was absent-mindedly picking at his beer bottle, looking like he had something on his mind. "You know, Carol, I've been to a lot of places, but this road life can get pretty lonely." I took a sip of my drink and watched him. "Why not settle down? Get a place, maybe a dog." He laughed, but it was dry. "Settle down? Invest in real estate, mow the lawn on Sundays. Not my thing." I chuckled. "Doesn't have to be that dull, but I get it. Freedom is hard to give up." We fell into silence as the hum of the bar faded. I found myself opening up more than I usually do. After my parents passed, it was just me and my younger sister, Anna. I had to grow up fast and take care of both of us. Put everything on hold, her schooling, her future. It was all on me. James turned toward me, his face serious. "That's tough, Carol. Sounds like a lot." "Yeah, it was brutal," I said, trying to keep the mood light. "But you just keep going. You play the hand you're dealt." He smiled softly. "You've done well, running a hotel and making sure Anna had a normal life." I laughed, genuinely this time. "Yeah, I guess running a hotel, managing bills, and making sure Anna didn't have to live the way I did." He leaned in. "You're remarkable, you know that?" I swatted his arm playfully, but deep down, his words felt good. "So what about you? Ever think about family?" I asked, flipping the question back to him. He shifted, looking uncomfortable. "Family's complicated. My folks have their empire, and I've got my own path." "An empire, huh?" I teased. "Sounds glamorous." He gave a half smile. "It's not all it's cracked up to be. A lot of expectations. Golden handcuffs." We spent hours talking that night, like the walls between us came down. I didn't realize how late it was until the bartender started cleaning up. Things with James were smooth, but he kept his distance when it came to serious talks about where things were heading. That is, until one evening when everything changed. I invited James to my apartment for dinner. It was the first time he'd seen where I lived. He looked around, clearly impressed. "This place is nice, Carol. Didn't expect you to live somewhere like this," he said, genuinely surprised. I laughed. "What, you thought I lived in a shack?" After my parents passed, they left us well off. Sold their house, bought an apartment for Anna and me, and this place is mine. James nodded, impressed. You've done great for yourself. After dinner, we sat on the couch, a bottle of wine between us. That's when he said it. Carol, I've been thinking a lot about us. I raised an eyebrow, feeling my heart race. Oh yeah, what's on your mind? He took my hand and looked into my eyes. I love you, Carol. I know I said I wasn't looking to settle down, but with you, it's different. I can't imagine being anywhere else but here with you. His words hit me hard. Just weeks ago, he was all about avoiding commitment, and now this. But as I looked into his eyes, I knew he was sincere. Are you serious, James? This isn't just a momentary feeling. He squeezed my hand. I've never been more serious. Will you marry me? The words hung in the air, heavy and unexpected. My mind raced, but my heart had already answered before I could think. Yes, I'll marry you. And just like that, we were engaged. A few weeks later, James gave me a beautiful, simple ring, and it felt surreal, like a dream I didn't want to wake up from. James couldn't stop talking about the wedding. You deserve something amazing, Carol. Let's make this wedding one no one will forget, he said, already planning ahead. I paused when James proposed his financial plan. His idea was simple. I would manage the organization with my connections, and he would contribute $50,000. He promised an extravagant honeymoon at the world's best hotel, followed by a house for the two of us. It was a lot of money, nearly all my savings, but seeing James so eager, I decided to set aside my concerns. Okay, if you think it's the best move, I trust you, I said. I transferred the funds, and James took over the arrangements. Watching him invest so much energy into the planning warmed me in ways I hadn't expected. This man, who had entered my life so quickly, seemed to have become my everything. Every night, I went to bed with a smile, believing everything was falling perfectly into place. It was time for James to meet my sister Anna. She was all I had left in terms of family, and I valued her opinion, even though she could be a handful at times. We met at the diner where Anna worked. The bell above the door rang as we walked in, and Anna greeted us with a wide grin. Hey sis, she waved before turning to James. So you must be the famous fiancé I've heard about. James flashed that charming smile of his, stepping forward to shake her hand. And you must be the stunning sister I've heard so much about. You two could easily be twins. I rolled my eyes, feeling a mix of pride and irritation. All right, enough with the charm, mister. Anna laughed but leaned in, her eyes mischievous. So James, are you as wealthy as they say? My sister sure knows how to pick them. Anna, I hissed, feeling embarrassed. She always knew how to get under my skin. James just laughed, clearly unfazed. Well, I've done all right, but Carol's right. It's not about the money. It's about love. Anna raised an eyebrow, impressed. A smooth talker, huh? I like him. Over the next few weeks, James kept up his perfect persona. He was attentive, charming, and never gave me a reason to question his loyalty. Even Anna's flirtations didn't faze him, which was a relief. One afternoon, in the middle of wedding preparations, my best friend Liz and I went to a bridal shop to pick out my dress. The place was like a dream, filled with luxurious fabrics. As I was getting zipped into one gown, I heard Anna's familiar laugh from the next fitting room. Curious, I peeked around the curtain to find her twirling in front of a mirror, wearing a wedding dress. Anna, what are you doing in a wedding dress? I asked, confused. She stopped twirling and gave me a crooked smile. Just trying things on, for fun. Liz joined us and laughed. Looks like someone's got wedding fever. Anna's laugh faltered. Yeah, something like that. I might need one sooner than you think. I raised an eyebrow. Are you serious? Do you have something to tell me? Let's just call it a surprise, Anna said lightly, but her tone was evasive. We shrugged it off, figuring she was just being her usual dramatic self. But the image of her in that dress stayed in my mind as I focused on my own wedding. Then, one morning, everything changed. James rushed off after breakfast, saying he had a meeting. He left his phone on the coffee table, and it buzzed almost immediately. My curiosity got the better of me. I picked it up, thinking it was about work or the wedding. There was no password. I should have known something was wrong. The screen lit up with a series of messages from Anna. My heart sank. Why so many messages from her? I opened them, telling myself I was just being paranoid. But the words on the screen crushed me. I can't wait to be with you forever, Anna had written. Forget Carol. It's you I want standing by me. James' reply, soon, love. We just need to play this out a little longer. She's so clueless, it's almost funny. I kept scrolling, each message cutting deeper. They had been planning this together, using my money for their future once I was out of the way. But the worst part? Anna was pregnant by James. The world seemed to spin around me. My sister, my own sister, had betrayed me. And James, the man I trusted, was equally guilty. James returned an hour later, looking flustered. "Hey babe, have you seen my phone?" he asked, kissing me as if nothing was wrong. I handed it to him, forcing a smile, hiding the storm inside me. "You left it here," I said, trying to sound sweet. "Losing your touch, leaving your phone behind." He scrolled through the messages, completely unaware that I knew the truth. I watched him, my fists clenched. Did he even care? Was he worried? That night, as we lay in bed, he was all smiles, talking about our future. Our future, Carol, the wedding, our life together. It's all going to be perfect. I turned to face him, torn between love and disgust. "I'm sure it will be," I muttered, letting him pull me close. "Absolutely perfect." As he fell asleep, I lay awake, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge. I wasn't going to be a victim. If they wanted a show, I'd give them one they'd never forget. But for now, I had to play along a little longer. The wedding day arrived, and it was everything I had dreamed of, a grand celebration, full of flowers, music, and anticipation. But just as we were about to exchange vows, the doors at the back of the hall swung open. Anna, in a wedding dress, strutted down the aisle, causing gasps among the guests. She marched right up to us, shoving me aside with dramatic flair. "I'm the one who deserves to be here, Carol, not you. I'm having his baby," she announced, turning to James. Tell everyone." James laughed, the sound chilling and cruel. "Thanks, Carol, for the perfect wedding setup. Just what I wanted for me and your sister." The guests whispered in shock, their eyes darting between the three of us. But I wasn't fazed. I smiled, stepping back calmly. "Of course," I said, my voice steady. "I wouldn't miss it for the world." Their smug grins faltered as I walked away, leaving them to their twisted spectacle. I wasn't the fool anymore. I settled into my seat, crossing my legs, watching the drama unfold before me. James and Anna stood before the priest, exchanging vows. But before they could finish, the door flew open, and a woman stormed down the aisle. An older woman seething with anger. "James," she shouted, and I watched the blood drain from his face. "You lying, cheating scoundrel." The entire room went silent. James's confident smile vanished, panic flickering in his eyes as the woman stood before us. "I am his wife and the mother of his child, something he's conveniently forgotten, along with the promises he made to me," she said, her voice dripping with fury. Anna's face turned ashen, her legs trembling. She glanced between James, the woman, and then at me, her eyes pleading for help. I stood up, my voice cutting through the silence, cold and calculated. "James isn't just a bigamist. He's broke. A private investigator confirmed it. He's buried in debt. His investments have failed, and the worst part, he's been stealing from his own family." The guests murmured in shock, and the woman whirled on Anna. "And you?" she spat, taking a step toward my sister. Anna staggered back, tears streaming down her cheeks. I couldn't help but feel a bitter sense of satisfaction as everything unraveled. This was the result of weeks of pain and careful plotting. Their world was crumbling, and while it was satisfying to watch, it left a hollow ache inside me. The woman's accusations continued, sharp and unforgiving. "He's ruined us, and you think he'll build something with you. Get a clue, girl." Anna cried, her dream wedding turned into an absolute disaster. James tried to speak, to salvage the situation, but his wife slapped him across the face, the sound of it echoing in the hall. Guests began to process the revelations, murmuring among themselves. Then the doors burst open again. James's parents entered. The elderly couple looked like offended royalty, their faces a mixture of disbelief and rage. His father, a stern man in an impeccably tailored suit, spoke first. "I'm ashamed of you, James. How could you fall so low?" he bellowed, his icy gaze locking onto his son. His mother, fragile and tear-streaked, clutched a handkerchief. "My son, how could you? This is unforgivable." James stood there, his usual charm crumbling under the weight of his family's disappointment. He tried to explain, but his father cut him off. "You're no longer part of this family. Consider yourself disinherited. his father stated, his voice unforgiving. The room exploded in chaos, guests pulling out their phones to document the downfall of what was supposed to be my perfect wedding. Weeks later, I took James to court. My lawsuit demanded the return of the $50,000 I had given him for the wedding. The evidence was overwhelming, and the judge ruled in my favor, ordering James to repay every penny. His wife wasn't far behind with her own suit. She sued him for emotional distress, deceit, and alimony for their daughter. I attended every court session, feeling a sense of satisfaction as I watched James face the consequences of his actions. To my surprise, Anna remained by his side, supporting the man who had nearly destroyed me. One day, outside the courthouse, Anna confronted me. "He loves me, Carol, and I love him. We're going to make this work, no matter what you or anyone else thinks." I looked at her, the sister I once knew, now a stranger. "Love? You call this love? He used both of us, Anna. Wake up, he's a liar." "But he's changed. He'll change for me. You just couldn't see the good in him," Anna shot back, her voice trembling but defiant. I shook my head, letting out a cold laugh. "Good? There's no good in him, Anna. He's a con artist, and you're just another victim." I walked away, the weight of everything pressing on me, the lies, the betrayal, the endless court battles. It had all taken a toll, but I felt a strange sense of closure. The man who had sworn to love me had shown his true colors, and I had exposed him to the world. The saga with James ended, not with a dramatic conclusion, but with a quiet departure. He slipped out of town, leaving behind broken promises and debts. He paid me and his legal wife, perhaps thinking that would clear his conscience before vanishing. But the real mess he left behind was with Anna, my sister, who was now alone and pregnant. A few weeks after James's disappearance, Anna showed up at my apartment. It was the first time we'd seen each other since the courtroom debacle. She stood at my door, broken, her eyes cast downward. "Carol, I need help," she whispered, her voice shaking. "He left me, and I'm going to have his baby. I have nothing." The old me might have opened the door, let her back into my life, but too much had happened. "You have the apartment, and you'll have the baby. That's a start. You're not on the streets. You're not helpless." "But I don't have any money, Carol. The bills, the baby. I need support." I shook my head, my decision firm. "You made your choice, Anna. Now you can make another. Figure it out, just like I had to when Mom and Dad died. Just like I did when you betrayed me." She sobbed, her body racked with emotion. "I never meant to hurt you. I thought I was in love. I really did. Love doesn't lead you to betray your family. Love doesn't make you watch me humiliated. You didn't love me enough to stay away from him, to come clean before it all fell apart." Anna's face twisted with desperation. "So that's it? You're just going to turn me away?" "Yeah, that's it. You'll walk away from here, and you'll take care of your child on your own, just like I took care of you." I turned my back, closing the door with a definitive slam. It was one of the hardest things I had ever done, but it was necessary. Life resumed with a quiet sense of normalcy I hadn't realized I missed. I returned to work, picked up old hobbies, and slowly rebuilt the independence that had always defined me. I heard from family friends that Anna had her baby, a girl, and was getting by. I hoped she found strength in motherhood, the strength she never found as my sister. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.